Hello, everyone, and welcome to some emergency live coverage um, of a damaging, dangerous tornado south of the Denver metro now at this time. So, going on the air here for some emergency coverage is in the far southern Denver metro area. There is now a large, damaging, dangerous tornado, according to the Weather Service. You can see it here. It's just east of Highlands Ranch. This thing is heading in the general direction of Lone Tree, but we can see the details here. A confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado is located over northeastern Highlands Ranch, or 12 miles south of Denver, moving southeast at 15 miles per hour. This is a particularly dangerous situation. It's a weather spotter's confirmed tornado. We can see there that velocity couplet, that looks gnarly. And when it comes to the debris signature, not much of one. So hopefully this thing isn't quite as strong as it looks, and hopefully as a result of that, we're not actually going to see quite as much damage as it may initially appear. That is the biggest hope that we can have. For now, we'll just have to see. But again, a particularly dangerous situation currently unfolding in the state of Colorado in the southern Denver metro. Taking a look at this now, the major thing to note here again is that we have a big time damaging tornado. It's east of Highlands Ranch. It's right around here. That's just west of Highway 24, just east of the center of Highlands Ranch. It's just south of State Route 470. So that's where this thing currently is, but there is a large, damaging, dangerous tornado that's currently on the ground there. Again, that's a particularly dangerous situation. This is confirmed by weather spotters with a considerable damage threat. Now, yesterday, we had a big-time tornado last night that we unfortunately weren't here to cover. Today, though, we're going to be covering this thing. Hopefully, it's nowhere near as destructive as the one from last night. But again, it's just east of Highlands Ranch. This thing is generally moving southeastward here. So if I time this out here, and just show you the general direction this is heading towards. So we're going to go all the way out to Cherry Creek Highlands, which is not in a tornado warning. Lone Tree is just within it. And we're going to say this thing's currently moving at 15, so we're going to say 20 and be a little aggressive here with the times that this could arrive. But if you're in MacArthur Ranch, you have about 11 minutes until this arrives at your location. You're just outside of that tornado warning polygon. I would not be shocked to see that extended to include you at some point soon. We have Lone Tree in about 14 minutes. Again, you're just outside of this polygon as well. Meridian Village, all these places out of a warning. You're not currently in a warning, so you don't currently need to act, but you need to be ready because it could become a possibility that you do need to act in the very near future. If you're in Meridian Village, Sarah Ridge, Stepping Stone, Stonegate, those areas, you're going to be impacted within less than half an hour if this thing remains on the ground. So please just know that you are within an extremely dangerous situation here, and that no matter how this does end up, you do need to be watchful here, as a tornado warning, including you, could be coming out in the very near future. We're going to be staying right here with you for at least the next 20 to 30 minutes or so as this continues to move on through. We will see what continues to happen here with this storm, and we will stay on the air until we believe that there isn't a huge threat with this. Now, it should be noted that this same severe thunderstorm also has prompted a destructive warning here with hail in the Denver metro itself, exceeding 2.5 inches in diameter, possibly, according to the Weather Service. Now, the highest reports that we're seeing up there farther north are getting up to the size of golf balls, so not quite as big as what the Weather Service is currently saying it could be, but it's just what we're seeing right now. But again, a damaging, dangerous tornado is currently on the ground just east of Highlands Ranch, heading towards Lone Tree. Now, if you're in Lone Tree, you're getting some large to giant hail right now with this thing. And that's going to be the first thing of concern there. And again, the Weather Service there, just below the destructive severe warning limits there, saying that you got tennis balls possible with this storm. So if the potential of a large, damaging, dangerous tornado isn't enough, perhaps tennis ball-sized hail could be a bit more of a factor for you there. Now, the good news with this thing is that it does look like it's weakening a bit compared to where it was. The bad news is this thing is now nearly stationary where it currently is. Between here and the last frame, it hasn't really moved much. And there it is. Again, it's moving to the southeast here, and it is looking a bit weaker with every new frame that comes in, and that again is certainly good news. However, we still need to be watching this very closely as it does move southward. This is likely still a tornado on the ground, if not at the very least a very strong circulation, and so until said otherwise, we've got to treat this like it's still a large, damaging, dangerous tornado on the ground. Haven't mentioned the county here. This is for north central Douglas and southwestern Arapahoe counties. And this tornado warning remains in place here until 4 p.m. Mountain Time. So 4 p.m. Mountain Time, that's when this expires. But again, this is a big-time, dangerous tornado that's currently on the ground. Someone's saying, getting ready for a soaker in the northeast states this week. Our first severe thunderstorm day could be Monday. Certainly a possibility here, and we'll talk about that more if we get the time to, if this calms down a bit. But for now, I'm going to keep an eye on this storm, and again, of course, I will get back to that subject if this does begin to calm down before calling it a day here. But this is a very dangerous situation. Very dangerous situation. So we're going to continue to watch this as it moves south with time. So again, that's a dangerous tornado that is now east of Kistler Park, east of Highland Ranch, heading in the general direction of Lone Tree. If it continued on its current trajectory, it would likely head in the general direction of Surrey Ridge. You're not in tornado warning right now, but Surrey Ridge would be the next big place there that could possibly get hit. That's in Douglas County. So this thing is now moving. This thing is now moving out from Arapahoe County to Douglas County. That's the current direction of motion with this thing, as this extremely dangerous tornado does continue. So, goodness gracious, not a good situation there at all. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything of that nature, please feel free to ask. We'll be happy to answer them. But we'll just have to see. This dangerous situation does continue with time here. Is this dangerous severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado now heading very close to Lone Tree? This thing's now between Highland Ranch and Lone Tree now. Both areas are getting a lot of rain, some hail, things like that. And that is for sure. The major question here is whether we do have a large tornado that is still on the ground, and we don't quite know at this time. I'll keep you up to date here with time as we do continue to get more information here. But regardless, a large, damaging, dangerous tornado was on the ground as of not too long ago, could still be on the ground here. We'll just have to see. But a particularly dangerous situation does continue to unfold there in Arapahoe and Douglas counties. Again, it's in Arapahoe and Douglas counties. It's in the southern Denver metro where we are seeing a very dangerous tornadic circulation there. So we're going to continue to monitor this closely as this large and dangerous tornado remains a threat here, and we'll see. This tornadic circulation is located now very close to Lone Tree. This thing is extremely close to Lone Tree. So if you are in Lone Tree, even if you're not directly in the tornado warning, it's time to get to that safe place. If I'm in Surrey Ridge, I'd be doing the same thing. You're in a severe thunderstorm warning there for golf balls, regardless. But I would suggest here getting into that tornadic safe place as an extremely dangerous situation continues to unfold. So we're going to continue to watch this very closely. This thing, we can even go down to street level here and see that this thing is near Glenstone Drive. I mean, that's just a specific place to call out here, but you can see we can get all the way down to that street level there, and you can see there, this is in the Glenstone Drive, Glenstone Circle, general vicinity. This thing is heading towards South Quebec Street, and it's heading towards Lone Tree and Carriage Club. So that is an extremely dangerous situation that we're continuing to see there, and I cannot emphasize that enough. A large, damaging, dangerous tornado was confirmed on the ground not too long ago in the southern Denver metropolitan area. This was as of 3:31 p.m. It is now 3:47 p.m. Over there, Mountain Time. The time you see there in the lower right corner, that is Central Daylight Time. That's the time zone that I live in, but again, it's 3:47 over there, Mountain Daylight Time. So let's just make sure we're keeping that in mind. This is south of Greenwood Village. This is south of Denver proper. But this thing is very close to Lone Tree and MacArthur Ranch. If you're in either of those areas, it's time to get to your safe place, especially if you're in Lone Tree. This thing has now made a shift here to the east. So if you're in Lone Tree, it's time to get to that safe place. You aren't in a tornado warning. You aren't right now, but the couplet looks stronger and it's heading straight for you. So if you're in Lone Tree, it's time to get to that safe place. We're actually going to track this out for you. I'm sure the Weather Service will have a new warning out any minute now, but until then, we're going to call out some locations, at least that I believe personally could get hit. Lone Tree, you've got maybe 9 minutes. Maybe. Let me actually make sure that I got the proper speed in there. Lone Tree, you got maybe 6 minutes until the center of this thing moves over you, but it's right there. You need to be in your shelter right now. If you're in Meridian, you've got 10 minutes until this gets to you. If you're in Meridian Village, 13 minutes. Again, if you hear your location in this, it's time to get to that tornado safe place, in my opinion. There's not a formal tornado warning out for these locations, but there is a strong circulation capable of producing a tornado that is within a tornado-warned polygon that just hasn't been extended yet. So I anticipate there will be an extension here at any moment. So if you hear your location, you're either not currently in a warning or right in the edge of one. So just know the Weather Service currently doesn't have a warning out for you. However, I believe there is reason to believe that there is a strong circulation capable of producing a tornado if there isn't one on the ground heading in your direction. So again, if you're in Lone Tree, you've got 6 minutes. It's time to get to your tornado safe place. If you're in Meridian, you've got 9 minutes. It's time to get to your tornado safe place. If you're in Meridian Village, you've got 13 minutes. It's time to go. Grandview Estates, you've got 14 minutes. Stepping Stone's got 14 minutes. Sierra Ridge has 14 minutes. Stonegate, Parker, Pendrosa Hills. All these areas have not too much longer, up to maybe half an hour here, as the situation does continue to unfold. And I do think there has to be a new tornado warning that's going to come out here relatively soon. But this is a large, extremely dangerous tornado as of not too long ago that does continue and could still be on the ground. The latest velocity saying that. And there it is. A new tornado warning's just come out for this area. You can see it right here, and this is also a particularly dangerous situation according to the Weather Service there in Denver, so let's talk about it now. National Weather Service has issued a new tornado warning now. This is for northeastern Douglas County in northeastern Colorado until 4:15 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. As of 3:48 p.m., a large and extremely dangerous tornado was located over Lone Tree. So again, Lone Tree, time is up. Or 13 miles south of Denver, this thing was moving east at 15 miles per hour. They say that this is a particularly dangerous situation, and it's time to take cover immediately. The source of this being radar-indicated rotation, so there's not currently a spotter on it, but given the history of this and the appearance when the warning was issued, I think that's certainly warranted. This will be near Castle Pines at around 3:55 p.m. Mountain Time. That's about 5 minutes. This thing will be near Parker at about 4:05 p.m. Mountain Time. Other locations within this tornadic thunderstorm include Pinery at this time. So again, that is a large, damaging, dangerous tornado. The Weather Service says is on the ground. Now, I have some good news here in regards to this thing. The major good news is now that we are going to look at here. You can see on our velocities, this couplet here, where the tornado would be located, it looks a lot weaker than it did not too long ago. That's the good news. So it definitely looks like whatever circulation this is, it is weaker. Now, there could still be a tornado on the ground. It could still be big, but the structure of the storm, the stuff that allows that tornado to tick, it looks like it's winding down some. So hopefully this won't be a particularly dangerous situation for too much longer. That's the hope. But for now, it remains that way. So please make sure that you're in your tornado safe place if you're in Lone Tree, Surrey Ridge, Stonegate, Cherry Creek Highlands, Parker, any of those areas that I called out earlier. Or the new areas that this warning also encapsulates, please make sure that you're in your tornado safe place as this moves through. This thing is going to be crossing I-25 and not too long between Surrey Ridge and Centennial, almost smack dab in the middle of there, and it's a part of I-25. It's going to be nearly perpendicular with Stonegate. So if you have Stonegate here, Again, it's going to be along that part of I-25, along the same general horizontal line as Lone Tree and Stonegate. Now, we do have a new radar frame that's just come in here, and I would like to take a look at that and see what exactly is going on there. And we don't have a new velocity frame just yet, but we do have new reflectivity, and there's the new velocity frame. And the good news is it looks like that rotation is much, much weaker. Much weaker rotation there. This thing south of Lone Tree and between Lone Tree and Surrey Ridge still, if there were a tornadic circulation, it would be between here now generally. So it's harder to tell now where this thing would be if it's still on the ground, but this looks much weaker than it did just a little bit ago, and hopefully the tornado was not particularly strong during that encounter. But again, we'll just have to see here how exactly this whole thing does end up. But a powerful thunderstorm capable of producing a damaging, dangerous tornado does continue here. This thing stretching all the way from around Littleton and Centennial and Parker, farther south along the I-25 corridor near Castle Rock. This is the major severe thunderstorm slash tornado maker of the day. And it's going to continue to be that way for quite a while now. And again, that is a particularly dangerous situation now that is safely well within Douglas County. So if you're in Arapahoe County, this tornadic circulation is out of Arapahoe County. This thing is no longer in Arapahoe County. So that's what we're going to continue to look at here. My goodness gracious, that was a bad situation. Bad situation. Now some news here. Our tornadic circulation is likely within here. We have other kinks here within this storm that could be beginning to get what's called inflow, or trying to get some fresh air into that circulation to produce tornadoes. The good news is the storm is large enough now that it's likely impeding its own ability to get fresh air because of its region of influence here. But regardless, the Weather Service deeming this situation here a particularly dangerous situation for a potential tornado now near Surrey Ridge, heading east-southeast here at about 15 miles per hour. So again, Lone Tree, Stonegate, Cottonwood, Cherry Creek Highlands, and Parker, those are the major areas within this warning. Now, hopefully this thing, as it's weakened, has lifted, and I'm hoping that it did so before it even hit Lone Tree. We'll just have to see here with time, but the real good news is that that couplet, that does not look very discernible, and I would be surprised if there's still a tornado on the ground. So that's certainly good news. That it does look like perhaps this tornadic circulation has really begun to fizzle out here, and that's exactly what we want to see. However, that does not mean that we should be letting our guard down with this thing. And I'm seeing my polygon over here disappear for this PDS tornado warning here on Radar Omega. However, my other program still has it up. So I'm going to see here, and they did allow that warning to expire. They've actually canceled the warning completely. So that's good news. Now, if you're in this warning back here, I suspect that they'll cancel that one as well. So if you're in Arapahoe or Douglas counties, you are now in the all clear. You are now in the all clear for any sort of tornadic circulation here. So that's the good news. That's an all clear for you. Now, you're not in an all clear for severe weather. There's still some severe thunderstorms ongoing here. We'll go over both of the warnings in association with this. So if you're in north central Douglas, southwestern Arapahoe, southwestern Denver, or east central Jefferson counties, then you need to make sure that you're still watching out, as tennis ball sized hail is still heading in your general direction, especially if you're in Littleton, Greenwood Village, Centennial, or Lone Tree. Now, if you're in Waterton, if you're in Roxborough Park, if you're in Louvers, if you're in Highlands Ranch, you're on the back end of this. I'd still remain indoors, as lightning can be a hazard. However, the worst of it has passed you. If you're in Lone Tree, I'm hoping you didn't just take a direct hit from a tornado, but odds are you did. I'd still be remaining in my safe place, as heavy rain and potentially some large hail is possible for you. For those in Parker, if you are in northeastern Douglas County, golf ball sized hail is a possibility for you. Now, I am seeing a rather suspicious looking area of rotation there, just to the south here of Cherry Creek Highlands. It's actually just to the east of Silver Heights. Now, this could be some radar contamination, and that's the hope here. It's just south of some high reflectivity returns, which are an indication of large hail. I'll show those right now. Again, you can see there's the indication of large hail. It does actually look like there might be some displacement between that circulation. There isn't really actually. The new frames just come in, but that doesn't look as suspicious to me. But now that that's calmed down, that situation's calmed down some, let's address some of the things in the chat. First thing, hi to Micah. I hope that life's been going well for you since last I saw you. We were actually classmates for quite a while in high school, so it's nice to see you on the stream. I hope everything's going well for you. Raymond, you're saying that there's a possibility of some severe storms on Monday for you. And I'd be inclined to agree that that's a possibility. If we actually take a look at the Storm Prediction Center outlooks, you'll see why that would be evident here. So here's the SPC website. This is today's risk, and you'll notice there around the Denver area, that slight risk, level 2 out of 5. Farther south, we do have a level 2 out of 5 there along the Oklahoma-Texas panhandles heading into New Mexico, and then a small slight risk there in the state of Oklahoma as well. Tomorrow, we have an enhanced risk in place for very similar regions, but severe weather is possible across the plains. If you watched my video earlier today, you'll note that I also talked about how I think there could be an extension farther east, especially of the slight risk and the marginal risk as we head into tomorrow. So that's definitely something to note there as well. And then 3 days out, we have a potential for severe thunderstorms here that's now moved east. This is including Kansas City, Des Moines, Iowa, heading farther north, the Twin Cities actually within a marginal risk there for severe thunderstorms. So this is a very dangerous situation that could unfold here. I would not be shocked to see an upgrade to an enhanced risk somewhere within here. There's already a hatched region throughout the entirety of this risk area, so I could see tomorrow and Saturday being big days for severe weather. 4 days out, we see this moves farther east. This now includes places like Indianapolis into Paducah, Kentucky, and this is a major situation that could be unfolding as well, another day that could be bigger. And then 5 days out, this is where predictability ends up being too low, but not potential. So if we see the natural progression of this as it moves east, so 2 days out we're in the high plains, 3 days out we're in the upper Midwest, 4 days out we're into the Mississippi Valley, then 5 days out the Mid-Atlantic and New England could potentially see some severe thunderstorms, as that's definitely a possibility. We'll have more details on that with time, but I wouldn't be shocked if we do see some severe thunderstorms up and over there with time. So hopefully that's good to address. But good news here, it looks like our tornadic circulation down there in the Denver metro, south of the Denver metro, has really petered out here. And it looks like this arc of storms here, it still remains rather potent, but it does not look to be tornadic right now. So no tornado warnings are currently in effect right now. And that's some good news. So let's actually move around across the country a little bit. Let's move farther north here. North of Cheyenne there in Nebraska, we do have a severe thunderstorm that is currently... Do I not know my geography? That's Wyoming. I said Cheyenne, Nebraska. Cheyenne, Wyoming, my apologies there, is currently north of there. There's a little supercell heading towards Chugwater at this time, and that supercell, it doesn't look too overly strong in terms of winds or tornadic potential, but it's definitely got some hail there. So 60-mile-per-hour wind gust, quarter-sized hail for that. That's for Lemery and Platte counties. Farther north here, as we do move up in that general direction, you'll see another severe thunderstorm heading towards JM in the state of Wyoming. That is in Groshen County, and that is until 4:45 p.m. Mountain Time for ping-pong ball-sized hail, as well as 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Now let's move farther south here. We do have some New Mexico severe thunderstorms to talk about. And let's see here. Is this a better radar site? Both radar sites are awful. That's okay. There's a bit of a radar hole here, but we still can see that there's some very large hail with these storms in the state of New Mexico. And it does look like this northern Colorado radar site might be the better one to look at. But 1 1/4 inch hail warned with all these storms. Would not be shocked if that's bigger. But that's going to be for Colfax County, as well as Harding and Union counties there in the state of New Mexico. As we move over into around and east of Amarillo, Texas, there along the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles, heading into Oklahoma itself on the western side of the state, we do have a severe thunderstorm capable of producing 2-inch diameter hail there. And these are big hailers today. And again, earlier today, I talked about it in the video. Today, hail's the big threat. That's going to be the thing that gets the most note when it comes to the potential of it being particularly large. There's not much rotation with this storm, however, still large hail there, and that large hail is going to be impacting the following counties. It's going to be Wheeler and Collingsworth counties in Texas, and that's again for 2-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and that does include the northern side of Wellington. That also includes Shamrock, and that does include I-40 there throughout the entirety of Wheeler County. So if you're in Wheeler County on I-40, you're in a severe thunderstorm warning right now for a thunderstorm capable of producing up to 2-inch in diameter hail. So that's quite large. Let's now take a look at what's going on in the state of Oklahoma here in south of Woodward and barely east of now Cheyenne. We now have thunderstorms that could be producing tornadoes. Tornadoes are noted as possible with these. However, that's not the main threat with them. The main threat with these storms is the wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour that have already been reported by some Mesonet stations, but also the ping pong ball sized hail. And that's in place for Roger Mill and Beckham counties, as well as a little further north, Ellis County and Dewey County. So that's what we're currently seeing in the state of Oklahoma there. But I'm probably not going to be on the air here for too much longer, so if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything of that nature, please feel free to ask, and I'll be more than glad to answer them. But I did want to go on for some emergency coverage today, as that was a large, damaging, dangerous tornado just south of the Denver metro that was on the ground there for a little while, and that could have caused some serious damage. And of course, we'll see what that actually ended up doing here in not too long. I'm sure we'll get some damage photos, things like that. For those of you that are into weather, you already know this, but for those of you that maybe you're somewhat new to this, or you're just kind of an enthusiast that doesn't check it out too much, the big place to go for weather stuff is Twitter. So if you want to see tornado damage photos, if you want to see what storm chasers are up to, well, that's going to happen on Twitter. That's the best place to go, in my personal opinion, for all that stuff. So, not good news. Not good news at all, so. Unbelievable. Let's just see what continues to happen there. But I'm seeing all kinds of stuff here on Twitter about this. And yeah, I mean, Reed Timmer, big name in the industry, he got some video of this large tornado that was on the ground with this thing. So that's unbelievable. All right, well, with that being said, I'll answer this final question here from Raymond, and if anyone else has questions, please feel free to ask. But once I get through these questions, I'm going to call it a day today when it comes to severe weather coverage, assuming that nothing else too crazy happens. But Raymond asking here, how much rain can the Northeast United States expect in the next week or so? So I'm actually going to turn off the latest weather alerts here. I'm gonna go to, let's see, let's go for a global model, and we'll use the global forecast system as kind of a base here. Let's see, does it have the product I'm looking for here? Total snowfall, freezing rain, no. Total precipitation, there it is. This just gives you a general idea of what to expect, but it's definitely not an actual number. But this can kind of help us time it out. But actually, before we do that, I'll show the National Digital Forecast database real quick here and see here what we have for precipitation totals. But this is the forecast here over the next few days. This is right about now, 23rd, 24th, 25th, and out through the 25th. The Weather Service expecting up in the Northeast, especially I'd say the peak near Scranton, Pennsylvania, getting around 2-3 inches of rain here And as you stretch farther south here, I mean, you're getting up to around, I think when you get into the purples, that's when you start to break into the 1.5 inch range. Lighter blues there about an inch. So that's one way of looking at it. And you can see here in the upper Midwest, that's where we're expecting a lot of the rain to be. But now let's take a look here. We'll use the global forecast system again as a base, but do not take this verbatim. We have to be taking more general things out of this, and this is just one model run. But this gives us a general idea of how much rain to expect over the next week. And so this is what to expect. We'll look in the Northeast here. And just for context, we'll head out here and we'll say about 168 hours. That's enough here. That's the next week or so in terms of rainfall. Here's what we can expect. So you'll notice there that 1 to 2 inches of rain is pretty widespread across the mid-Atlantic up into the New England region, and that's about all we can say. Specific locations are not relevant right now. That's going to shift around, but we can say in the mid-Atlantic and New England, especially the closer you get to the East Coast, that 1 to 2 inches is expected. With localized areas getting up to 3, maybe even 4 inches of rain, as again, this is a global model, not a mesoscale one, so we'll likely see higher totals than this in some regions. But again, relatively widespread, 1 to 2 inches, with 3 to 4 possible in local areas. But again, exacts cannot be taken. You'll notice here we have this upper amount there that's just north of Albany, near parts of Vermont there in the southern side of the state. You cannot take that literally. You can't do it. That's not what we're seeing. We're seeing a possibility of over 3 inches of rain somewhere in this large region. That's what we're seeing because uncertainty is so high. So that's what I have to say in that regard, and hopefully that was useful and helpful. If it was, you can let me know by hitting the like button down below and perhaps even subscribing to the channel as well for those of you that haven't done that already. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching this stream, and I hope to see you in the next one. Hopefully we won't need another bout of emergency coverage today, but if we do, you know where I'll be. I'll be right here at the desk taking you through the latest in terms of severe weather. Thanks again for watching, and we hope to see you in the next piece of content we produce. And right before I go, actually, I do want to let you know as well, we do have a new piece of content that's either just come out or is about to come out, and that is on Tropical Storm Brett and Tropical Depression 4. So head over to the channel and check that out for us as well. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next one.